Welcome back, my legends, and today we're going to discuss why Caustic hates Crypto, because story-wise it makes no sense why Caustic wanted to frame Crypto, because Crypto is one of the smartest legends in the game. So to me, I was wondering to myself, why would you frame Crypto where you could have framed somebody like Octane, which would have been, sadly, no offense, but it would have been easier to frame Octane for being the mole instead of somebody like Crypto, who is very intelligent, and some people like Mirage are not going to believe that he is the rat. So what this tells me is that he specifically targeted Crypto for a reason, and he does kind of give a reason, but it doesn't really make any sense, because he did tell Gibby that, yeah, I did, because he was afraid that Watson Crypto would become too close and that Watson was going to get distracted by Crypto, and he wanted her to become some kind of person that evolves science or something. Like, it makes really no sense unless my theory is true that Caustic figured out that Crypto could be his stepbrother Taejun Park when he overheard that Crypto said that, yeah, my mom used to call me a smarty pants, because we're theorizing that, hey, that maybe Crypto and Caustic have the same mom in Mystic, and Mystic used to call Caustic a smarty pants when he was a kid, and Caustic connected the dots because I think the Syndicate and Hammond Robotics told Caustic, because Caustic is working for them, that, hey, keep an eye on Crypto because his record is literally spotless. There's nothing about this guy. He had no reason to join the games, but for some reason he did. And obviously there's a Korean hacker that's 31 years old that they're trying to look for in Taejun Park, and it just so happens that this Korean hacker that's 31 years old joins the Apex games. Now, before people say Crypto's 31, apparently he is, even though he looks like somebody that should be in their 20s. Apparently, canonly, he's 31 years old, and it is public knowledge because Watson does say that, yeah, Crypto is 31, even though honestly it makes no sense, but hey, it is what it is. So what happened later on in the story is that it's assumed that Gibby told the legends the truth, because Caustic admitted to Gibby that, yeah, I'm the mole, and then he went on to go tell the other legends. Now, he did try to tell it to Watson that, hey, Caustic is the person that was the mole, but she didn't want to hear it. My guess is the reason why Watson doesn't believe it was Caustic is because she thinks that Gibby's trying to help out Crypto by just throwing Caustic under the bus, because obviously he will be like the easiest person to blame, and in her mind she's like thinking, well, I've been hanging out with Caustic all this time and I seen that he could be a good person.
Thank you, Dr. Caustic. See, you're not as inhuman as they say you are. I couldn't save Papa, but I can save you, Dr. Caustic.
But in reality, Caustic says that, oh, he only cares about Watson's intelligence, which I don't think that's true. I think he does personally care about Watson, but I think he started to worry when he might have figured out that Crypto could be his stepbrother in Taejun Park, because he is trying to take down the Syndicate. Even Caustic admitted that, oh, you're trying to take down the Syndicate. And my guess is that he's afraid that if Watson and Crypto become close, that Crypto might ask Watson to take down the Syndicate with him. But the problem is that Caustic is working for the Syndicate Hammond Robotics, so one day he might have to go after his stepbrother and Watson, and he's not going to want that to happen, because he, deep down, I think he does care about Watson. But if it turns out to be true that Caustic and Crypto are stepbrothers, this takes it to a whole new level of why Caustic could hate Crypto. Now, in one of the new boys lines, Caustic calls Crypto a gutter rat, and that he'll rue the day that he crossed them.
Traitors don't deserve gratitude.
I agree. You're smarter than you look.
This isn't over, gutter rat. You'll regret the day you crossed me.
You're not the one who should be angry, idiot.
Now, at first I'm like, that kind of makes no sense. When did Crypto cross you, Caustic? Because Crypto never crossed Caustic, because Caustic never worked with Crypto, so why is he saying this? And at first I'm like, oh, maybe he's trying to push the narrative that, yeah, Crypto was somehow in some way involved. That way Watson does not forgive Crypto and they don't end up together or working together or something like that. But why call him a gutter rat? Well, here's the thing, and Mystic is their mom. Then the reason he's calling him a gutter rat is because A, he's still trying to push the agenda that Crypto was involved, so that way Watson doesn't forgive him, and B is because he knows exactly who Taejun Park is. See, if Caustic just called Crypto a rat, he'll be calling him a snitch. But the fact that he's calling him a gutter rat, I think this is his way of secretly telling Crypto that, hey, I know who you are. I know you were abandoned at a young age and were living in the streets, and then you came to live with us in the orphanage. So in a way, Caustic is calling Crypto street trash. So in a way, Caustic is making fun of him for being an orphan, but there is no way Caustic would have known that. Even the Syndicate, when they did a background check on Crypto, said they had nothing on him. So how will Caustic know that he is some kind of street trash? And that will only make sense if he and Crypto are stepbrothers. So my guess is that Caustic must hate Crypto. My big theory is that Mystic replaced Caustic with Crypto as her real son. In other words, she liked Crypto more than her actual son and Caustic. Now, some of you are going to be like, what do you mean by that, Kevin? How will you know that? Well, because we know that Caustic faked his death, right? And in the certificate, it is explained by one of the professionals that identifies bodies that, hey, there was no way you could recognize this body at all, and yet only Katerina was able to somehow identify the body, even though it was completely burned. And for those of you who are kind of confused, Katerina Knox, we are assuming that her and Mystic are actually the same person, and that Mystic is not like an employee, but actually the person that owns the orphanage. So that's what we're assuming. Now, this will explain a lot, and in a way, this will be really sad, because originally I thought that maybe Caustic's mom agreed to say that, yeah, this is my son, that way her son can go into hiding. But now it looks less likely that's the truth, and it looks more like she just hated Caustic and just said, yeah, this is him, declare him dead, because Crypto was framed by the Syndicate. And if she knew that Caustic was alive, when she sent out Crypto to the Apex Games, she should have told him that, hey, by the way, that Knox guy, he's actually your stepbrother, so make contact with him because he and you can help out take out the Syndicate. But it doesn't look like that. It looks like Caustic really is working for the Syndicate Hammond Robotics, and this will explain why the Geo forces wanted to declare Knox is dead, so that way then he can go to the Apex Games and in a way be like some kind of spy for them to keep an eye on all the legends, because he will be under their control. Now, one of the final things I had to explain is, why would Mystic be mad at Caustic? What did Caustic do that she disowned him? Well, we know this is that Caustic worked in Humber Labs, and Humber Labs, for those of you who don't know, is some kind of pesticide company, and Caustic was accused of killing all those people in the lab. Now, personally, we know he did it because we literally see in the cinematic that he's in the lab. We see all these people struggling to breathe, and it said in his death certificate that, hey, Caustic was accused of doing experiments under the task force nose. Now, this is interesting. So what this tells me is that the task force for some reason owned this pesticide company, and we know that Caustic went on to work with Hammond in the Syndicate, and the task force clearly told the examiners that, hey, please declare Knox is dead. Now, there's something big missing here that I'm guessing we're going to learn later on in the story. But what this tells me is that I think Mystic found out about this and she disowned Caustic, but I think Caustic killed all those other scientists because they were also doing something illegal. But because Caustic was the only surviving scientist, that means that Hammond and the Syndicate were forced to work with Caustic, because since they were doing something very secretive that they didn't want nobody to know, and Caustic killed everybody and he's the only survivor, but they had no choice but to work with Caustic, at the same time fake his death to calm the public's knowledge that there's a serial killer out there, and just say that, yeah, he's dead, so don't worry about it. And for story reasons, we get to learn that Katerina identified the body to kind of give us an idea how she feels about Caustic. But here's the final question: why will Caustic do this? Well, because I think that Caustic did this is because he was seeing the split between his mom and him with Crypto. I think Crypto was getting more attention than Caustic, and I think he got fed up and left. I guess my mom loves this orphan more than she loves her actual son, and so Caustic left thinking that, okay, you can have my mom. And what happened is that when Crypto and Watson were getting too close together, and Caustic might have figured out that, hey, this is my stepbrother, what happened is that he started to remember what Crypto did to his mom and the way that Crypto took her away from him. All of a sudden, him is saying that you rue the day you crossed me, Gutter Rat. There's so much meaning in those words. He's explaining to Crypto that I know you were an orphan in the streets and then you took my mom away from me and now you're trying to take Watson away from me too. That's not going to happen. So yeah, my legends, this is my theory of why Caustic hates Crypto, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
I'll keep on repenting for that night so long ago. That your hands